If I told you that almost everything you were taught about money is wrong, would you believe me? Or would you clutch your credit score like a security blanket and tell me Dave Ramsey has it all figured out? Because here's a cold, hard truth. Most of us were raised on money myths passed down like family recipes, except instead of baking cookies, they bake financial regret. My goal for this video is to finally expose 10 money lies you still believe. And trust me, these lies are secretly draining your wealth faster than your ex drained your Netflix account. Let's break the chains, roast some bad advice, and fix your financial blueprint before it bankrupts your future. Lie number 1. Buying a house is always a good investment. Oh boy, let's start with this sacred cow of personal finance. Everyone says, renting is throwing money away, as if every renter is setting their dollars on fire for fun. Meanwhile, they forget to mention the money pit that is homeownership. Property taxes, which only go up. Maintenance, which always shows up when you're broke and the HVAC dies in July. Interest payments, those sweet 3% rates, ancient history. Closing costs, insurance, HOA fees, termites, mold, leaky roofs. Hell, even those mystery expenses like sewer line insurance that no one warned you about in home economics. Now please don't get it twisted. Owning a home can be a great investment if you buy right, live in it long enough, and aren't relying on it to make you rich overnight. But let's kill the fantasy. Just because you bought a home doesn't mean you're on your way to millionaire status. Here's what they don't say. A house is a liability before it's an asset. If you're barely scraping by to make that mortgage payment, you don't own the house. The bank does. You're not building wealth. You're building walls around your brokenness. Contrast that with a rental property that pays you every month. Or investing in an index fund that doesn't ask for a new roof every 10 years. Buy a home to live in? Great. But don't let society convince you it's a guaranteed ticket to wealth. Because if your financial plan begins and ends with a white picket fence and 30 years of interest payments, you're not chasing wealth, you're just financing the illusion of it. If that one stung, brace yourself, because the next lie might be sitting in your bank account right now, smiling. Lie number 2, a savings account will make you rich. Let's be real, your savings account has the personality of wet toast and returns about the same. You're not building wealth in there. You're just watching inflation beat your dollars with a baseball bat while the bank hands you a sympathy card and a 0.01% interest rate. Look, you need to understand this clearly. Most people think that saving money means they're being smart. And hey, saving is better than spending everything. But let's not confuse a financial nap with a wealth strategy. Savings accounts are great for emergency funds, short-term expenses, car repairs, surprise dental bills, keeping money safe from your online shopping habit. But if you think keeping all your money in a savings account is how you get rich, that's like storing your dream body in the fridge and hoping it gets fit on its own. Here's the truth. Wealth isn't saved. It's grown. You get rich by putting your money to work. That means investing in index funds that historically return 7 to 10% annually, buying rental properties that cash flow each month, starting a business that scales beyond your time, learning high-income skills that produce exponential returns. Your money should be like an army of employees. And if it's all sitting in a savings account, then guess what? Your army is on a coffee break. Even the rich don't hoard cash. They park it in assets that appreciate and generate income. So stop pretending your savings account is some magic vault. It's not protecting your future. It's just comfortably numbing you while the cost of living outpaces your balance. Build your emergency fund there. Sure, but your financial goals, they deserve better real estate. And speaking of bad strategies, let's talk about the lie that made millions of people broke with a diploma in their hand. Lie number 3, student loans are good debt. This lie was spoon-fed to an entire generation like it was applesauce, and now we're choking on the debt. Good debt is supposed to be the kind that leads to more income, but what if the degree doesn't lead anywhere? Let's look at the receipts. Over 43 million Americans have student loan debt. The U.S. total? North of $1.7 trillion. And a chunk of those degrees are gathering dust while their holders work jobs that didn't need them. Here's where the trap closes. The system sells college as a sure path to success, but no one tells you to measure the return on investment like you would any other business expense. If you spend $120,000 on a degree that gets you a job paying $17 per hour, it's not good debt. It's an expensive piece of wall art. Let's also be honest, Most 17-year-olds choosing a college major have no idea what they want. They pick communications or psychology or art history, and then end up in tech sales or making lattes with a minor in regret. Now, if you're becoming a doctor, engineer, or specialized professional, that's a different story. But taking on massive debt for a vague hope of a better life, that's not smart, it's predatory. It's time we stop romanticizing student loans like some noble rite of passage. They're a financial product, and just like any financial product, they can crush you if you don't understand the terms. Want to get ahead? Consider community college for Gen Eds, scholarships and grants like they're a sport, learning skills online for a fraction of the cost, apprenticeships or trade schools with actual ROI. Don't fall for the old school lie that says student debt is just part of the process. That process has led to people retiring with their student loans. Your education is important, but you don't need to bankrupt your future for a diploma. By the way, if you're still watching at this point, I just want to say that it's not only about avoiding bad financial advice, it's about developing the stealth wealth mindset. We've created specific videos and an entire playlist to help you fully adopt this concept in your own life. Make sure to subscribe and join the channel for all of our upcoming videos. Lie number 4, credit cards are evil. Let's get something straight. Credit cards are not evil. They're just financial power tools, and like any power tool, you can either build something smart with them or cut off your metaphorical fingers. Blaming credit cards for your money problems is like blaming a fork for gaining weight. It's not the plastic rectangle's fault, it's how you use it. Used recklessly, sure, credit cards will ruin your life. Sky-high interest rates, minimum payments that never end, debt traps so deep they need GPS. But used wisely, they build your credit score faster than a car loan ever will. They offer cash back, travel rewards, and purchase protection. They can be a buffer against emergencies, fraud, and surprise expenses. Here's the trick. Credit cards are a scalpel, not a sword. If you treat them like free money, boom, financial bloodbath. But if you treat them like a precision tool, paying in full, using rewards smartly, never spending what you don't have, you gain leverage. It's not about fear, it's about discipline. And that's why one of the first things I tell you in our Financial Freedom series is credit cards become evil only when your behavior is financially self-sabotaging. The card doesn't swipe itself, and even millionaires use credit cards, not because they need to, but because they know how to extract value without falling into debt. The bottom line? Cut up the card if it's destroying your finances, but don't let fear keep you from learning how to use it like a pro. You're not afraid of a hammer. Don't be afraid of credit. Let's take a detour to a cozy little lie society loves to whisper when you're flat broke. Lie number 5, money doesn't buy happiness. Let's break this one apart like a bad infomercial promise. People love to say, money doesn't buy happiness, with this smug moral superiority, as if being broke is somehow more virtuous, like the universe hands out gold stars for overdraft fees and ramen dinners. Here's the truth. Money absolutely buys happiness, just not in the way you think. Money buys freedom, time with your family, peace of mind, safety, options. And let's not forget dental care, a warm home, not having to choose between gas and groceries. The reason this lie persists is because people confuse hedonic pleasure with long-term fulfillment. Sure, buying a Ferrari won't make you eternally fulfilled, but not stressing about your next rent payment, that will absolutely raise your happiness baseline. Imagine this. You sleep 8 hours every night because you're not worried about bills. You spend weekends with your kids instead of taking on a second job. You go on vacations without credit card debt. That's what money buys. Space, control, margin, dignity. No, money won't fix your toxic relationship or give your life purpose, but it will buy you a therapist, a gym membership, and time to figure it all out without panicking over car repairs. Broke people don't hate money. They hate what they've been told money represents: greed, corruption, status games. But money doesn't create your values, it just amplifies them. Give a jerk $10 million, you get a louder jerk. Give a kind, generous person $10 million, you get a philanthropist who tips waiters $500. So no, money can't buy happiness directly, but it can buy the circumstances that make happiness a whole lot more accessible. Poor is not noble, and wealth is not evil. Let's stop pretending that struggling financially is some kind of spiritual badge of honor. You deserve a life where money is the least of your problems. Not the root of all of them. But wait, you're disciplined, right? You budget. You track your expenses. That must mean you're winning. Lie number 6. Budgeting is the key to getting rich. Wrong. Budgeting helps you control your money, but it doesn't grow your money. Think of budgeting like dieting. Sure, it stops the weight gain, but it won't get you six-pack abs. That takes more income and investment. The broke guy who budgets every dollar is still broke. He just knows exactly how broke he is. Want to get rich? Learn how to sell, how to scale, how to invest. Budgeting is the brakes. Getting rich is about the gas pedal. Speaking of brakes, let's slam on the next lie that keeps people in a financial coma. Lie number 7, a high income equals wealth. Okay, let's clear something up right now. Earning a lot of money doesn't make you rich. Keeping it does. You can bring in $300,000 a year and still be broke if you spend $305,000 trying to look rich. That's not wealth. That's financial cosplay. This is the trap of lifestyle inflation. You get a raise and suddenly your car gets fancier, your rent triples, your wardrobe gets glossier, and now you're successful until you're living paycheck to paycheck with nicer shoes. Meanwhile, someone else making $70,000, saving 30%, investing religiously, and living well below their means is silently stacking a portfolio that'll retire them in their 40s. High income is potential. Wealth is discipline. Ask any millionaire next door type. The ones who wear $40 sneakers, drive decade-old Toyotas, and max out their Roth IRAs. These people aren't flashy, but they're financially bulletproof. And here's the irony. High income can actually trick you. It gives you this false sense of security, like you're invincible to financial trouble. So you skip the basics, budgeting, investing, saving. Because hey, you make good money, right? But income is temporary. Wealth is what lasts when the income stops. Lose your job? That $10,000 couch won't pay your rent. A medical emergency? Your Rolex can't write you a check. And if your wealth is built solely on income, then your lifestyle is on life support every time your paycheck is late. Real wealth comes from assets that make money while you sleep, not just from working more hours or climbing some corporate ladder to nowhere. So don't confuse the size of your paycheck with the size of your financial foundation. Because you're not wealthy until you can stop working and nothing changes. But maybe you're not chasing income. Maybe you're chasing something worse, security. Lie number 8, a 9-to-5 is the safest path. Lies, lies, lies. Let's talk about one of the biggest illusions in modern life. The idea that a steady job equals safety. For decades, we were told the same bedtime story. Go to school, get a job, work hard, and retire with a gold watch and a pension. Problem is, that story got canceled like your favorite Netflix show, right after the cliffhanger. Here's what no one tells you. A 9-to-5 is not safe. It's just familiar. You know what's not safe? Relying on one stream of income, controlled by one company, in one industry. In a world that's automating and outsourcing faster than you can update your LinkedIn bio. Let's be real. Your boss can fire you faster than your grandma double taps a Facebook post. And that secure paycheck, it disappears the moment someone in upper management decides to restructure. Safety isn't about predictability. It's about resilience. You want real safety? Build multiple income streams. Learn high-demand skills that pay regardless of the economy. Invest in assets that don't care what your boss thinks of you. Your job can vanish, but skills, investments, and ownership, that's the fortress. The 9-to-5 used to be a ladder. Now, it's often a treadmill. You hustle, but you don't move. You clock in, but you don't level up. And worst of all, you're always one bad quarter away from disaster. And let's not forget the trade-off. You give 40-plus hours a week to build someone else's dream, praying that one day they'll let you keep your benefits long enough to retire. That's not security. That's corporate Stockholm syndrome. Now, does that mean you should quit your job tomorrow and start drop shipping scented candles? No. But it does mean you should stop romanticizing the paycheck and start creating your own leverage. Use your 9-to-5 to fund your 5-to-9. Build something, anything, a side hustle, a skill stack, a small business, a real estate portfolio, whatever fits your life. Because the most dangerous belief is thinking that your job will always be there. Spoiler, it won't. But your skills, your mindset, your assets, those are yours forever. Okay, let's get a little personal with the next one. It might hit you right in the childhood. Lie number 9. Talking about money is rude. Oh, please, you know what's rude? Staying broke because no one ever taught you how to manage money. We talk about relationships, religion, what we ate for lunch. But when it comes to money, taboo. This lie keeps families broke, friends uninformed, and entire generations financially illiterate. Normalize talking about salaries, investing, debt, financial goals. Silence is the enemy of wealth. And finally, let's dismantle the biggest lie of all, the one that kills more dreams than failure ever could. Lie number 10, you need to wait until you're ready. No, you don't. You need to start while you're scared. This lie is procrastination wearing a productivity hat. You'll never feel ready to invest, start a business, ask for more money, pivot careers. But waiting for ready is how you stay exactly where you are. The people who win, they act first, learn later, and fail forward. Start messy, get rich anyway. So, how many of these money lies have you been believing? Be honest, no shame. We've all been there. The important part is, you're here now, waking up, rewiring, and reclaiming your financial future. If this video slaps some sense into your bank account, hit that like button like it owes you rent. Subscribe for more no BS money truths and drop a comment below. Which money lie do you think more people need to hear? And if you really want to level up, check out the next video on 15 quiet money habits that secretly build wealth. It's like this video's richer, quieter cousin who wears $10 hoodies but owns 3 apartment complexes. Let's break the cycle. Let's build wealth, and I'll see you over there.